Released for the PSVR on May 16, 2017 by developer Impulse Gear and publisher Sony Interactive, Farpoint is so far the best VR game I have played and is best experienced with the aim controller.
That's another piece of the Pilgrim.
Alert. Threat detected.
You're alone on a hostile alien planet in search of the Pilgrim and its crew, a crashed space station that apparently fell victim to a wormhole and everything else that follows. I'm not sure how you ended up in this situation, and as you progress, you learn of another group who suffered the same fate. You come across these holographic recordings that helps you piece things together and figure a way out for yourself.
Okay, well, it's official. There are other survivors.
Now, while Farpoint is an exceptionally good VR entry based on several aspects, all of which I will go through in a minute, the main draw for me was the story, because while Farpoint has several strong points, it surprised me. I've had it for over a year now and never really got into it. I haven't really gone deep in a lot of PSVR titles before this summer actually, but going in, what I expected and what I got were two different things. Farpoint started off like nothing more than a blend of Starship Troopers, Pitch Black, and maybe some Halo. But this was because of the obvious sci-fi approach and the creatures. And while movies like Pitch Black had the bugs coming at you, it also had a pretty good story to back it up. And this is what happened here. The game started off really ordinary. Ordinary in a good way, but still ordinary. And while I do prefer to shoot people and not bugs, I was having a good time with these bugs. All except for these. Yeah, I'll get back to that. Farpoint, as the game progresses in a slow burn way, gradually opened up in what I'm going to have to call one of the most interesting and entertaining sci-fi stories I've interacted with in a while.
We got something here.
As you stumble across these holographic recordings of what the team before you went through, you quickly begin to realize there's more to this than your standard stranded on an alien planet story. The exchange between the two is actually quite gripping. How they started off as crew members to partial enemies due to emotional and psychological reasons to romantic partners.
I don't want to know you.
Now this brings me to the audio. Other than the perfectly fitting score, the voice acting was AAA. These actors brought this story to life in fine style. They were able to grab my attention and keep it all the way through. So while we should all know by now that gameplay is king, a game's story holds a real close second. And if not for the story, Farpoint may have been nothing more than an excellent tech demo. The visuals also played its role well. For an early PSVR title, I am impressed. This game is beautiful, from the environments to the details in your weapons and the enemy. I can tell that a lot of care was exercised in bringing this alien planet to life. Standing close to these creatures allows you to observe the level of detail at play here. Take a minute to check out your guns. Beautiful. And while these flat videos do VR very little justice, even these images from the social screen still speaks volumes. The visuals are really good. There were even times where I actually stopped playing just to take a nice long look at the environment.
Partial data recovery complete. New holographic files are available to view.
This is impressive.
We were happy. We were happy. If it's so advanced, then why would it want to destroy that?
I must also commend the devs on the audio syncing. This is probably one of the tightest lip syncing I've ever seen in a game. The devs understood how important it was to make and keep this virtual experience immersive, and they did just that.
Pressure's holding. It's actually pretty comfortable in here.
Okay. But we're not staying.
Let's talk overall gameplay. You have the single-player campaign, which is really all that interested me. There is PvP, but I was unable to find a match. You can also play this co-op, and though I was able to find a match, I wasn't feeling it. But it's good that it's there and the servers are still active for those who would want such an experience. My focus, however, was the single-player campaign.
Dr. Tyson, Dr. Moon, I found your comms relay. Do you copy now?
Farpoint has this survival horror feel to it, and I know it's not really supposed to be either, but some of these encounters are downright horrifying in VR.
Oh my god!
And the guns and ammunition are quite scarce. It's not until close to the end of the game that you begin to see a few more weapons laying around. You'll spend the majority of the experience using your standard issue assault rifle and the shotgun. The default rifle has unlimited ammo, but it overheats, and the shotgun, well, it runs out of ammo real fast. You do have secondary fire on both though, which is extremely helpful. I would have much preferred more ammo and the other guns earlier in the game.
Plasma rifle. This alien weapon fires bursts of plasma and includes an integrated energy shield.
There are times when the difficulty here spikes unexpectedly and you get overwhelmed fast. The horror I spoke of. Now, while this isn't classified as a horror game, as far as I know, these creatures were just the worst. Now, when I say the worst, I mean it. I had great difficulty playing this in the early stages. This may explain why it took me over a year to get to this review. I've said this before, playing in VR and on a flat screen are two totally different experiences. Watching this review requires your power of imagination to be cranked up to uber. Words and these flat images cannot properly convey what's really going on here. When these little shits start jumping at your face. Okay, look. Let me put it this way. Whether you're arachnophobic or not, whether these things have 4, 6, or 8 legs, having them lunge towards you in VR is just not right. Look, I mean it, man. There should be laws against creating shit like this. In all seriousness though, it freaked me out for a long time, to the point that I have removed the headset several times due to the discomfort this caused me. Hey, call me a bitch if you want to, man, but this shit right here, this is just wrong. And this is what I mean when I say this game has horror elements. As I have played so many games before, but other than Alien Trilogy on the Saturn, not many games made me freak out like this one. Eventually, as the game opened up and I grew up here, I met upon other enemy types, which was a relief, but lo and behold, by the time I reached the final leg of the game, in comes more of this shit. Farpoint does not throw a lot of boss encounters your way, but boss fights like this in VR is what real boss fights are made of. And this goes to show you how not by the books this game is. I expected a huge, drawn-out boss fight by game's end, but there was none. My kind of game. There were a few technical hiccups along the way, but nothing huge. Like this one time I fell off a ledge and got stuck somewhere. But other than that, it was a smooth ride. Farpoint was lauded by many as being the game the aim controller was made for, and while the aim controller worked well, it was nothing nearly as good as some say it is. There were times where the aim reticle would be all over the place, sometimes even vanish. But this didn't happen often enough for me to rage. Where motion sickness was concerned, there was none. I played this to the end and never got nauseous.
Jesus Christ. Oh, this is high.
You okay out there?
Yeah, I just gotta hug the wall and try not to die.
So, with an expertly crafted story, one which may not have worked as well outside the sci-fi space, a great score, solid sound effects, amazingly believable voice acting, good gameplay, and an all-round great experience, I'm going to have to say Farpoint, despite its age, is an exceptional PSVR experience. If you've never played VR, this would be a great place to start.
I'm not screwing around. If you move, I will shoot you!
Thank you for watching. If you like my content, feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell while you're at it and the endorphins are high. If I found a way to piss you off with this review, however, then let's be fair. We all know where to find the dislike and unsubscribe buttons, don't we? Either way, I won't hold it against you. Our game is never over.
You're going to do as I say. Steer the shuttle towards the top of the pillar. We're not going to the wormhole.